Hey love bug, it's me, Emma Upton, Clarity Alchemist, Resistance Evaporator, Magic Map Maker, and welcome to Let's Build the Real Thing. This is the podcast where you remember where you put the map to your work, and you do it in a way that feels like an adventure, not a checklist, not a job title, a wild, sacred calling that feels like a boiling hot bath, a scalding brew, and your fave bickies. I built this in the messiest season of my life. Twin babies, full-time teaching, husband away every week, and a brain that never let me rest. No spare time, no sabbatical, just a deep pull that I couldn't ignore anymore. So I followed it. I created the Be Anxiety Free Fine formula from scratch, turned it into a global program, published a book, and left teaching in 2021 to do this full time. Now, I help powerful women bring their work to life, the thing they can't stop thinking about. We tap your magic so the map becomes real, and then we build it together. Let's build the real thing. How do you know if it's your work? How do you know? That's what we're looking at today. And the answer is simpler than we want it to be. So you might be in the exact perfect field, doing the thing that you are meant to be doing. Exactly. And because it doesn't feel a certain way, the trio of terror inside your brain, the conscious brain, are going to write it off as like, well, this isn't my thing. I am less focused on the tangible external things. I am focused on that because it'd be ridiculous to be in this 3D world and not be, but I am less focused on those things because those things come into fruition the less emphasis you put on it. And I know that's not the answer that the trio of terror want, and that's where 90% of us lead from, but that's the truth. The answer to what is the thing, what is my work, what is it going to look like, how is it going to come into fruition, how is it going to manifest itself in 3D, how do I know if I'm wasting all of my time and energy on this thing? You know by what's sitting underneath it. And it isn't as clear as if it feels good, it's your work, and if it doesn't, it's not. Because so many of the things that I do that are completely and directly related to my work feel rubbish, and I wouldn't choose it for a second. The way you're going to know if it is your work is, does it feel, exploring these prompts, does it feel like something that you can't leave alone? Like if you had to just put it down now and you had to walk away from this idea, from this notion, from this sense of, oh, I feel like this is it. I feel like this is something. If you were gonna, would you be able to just put it down and walk away? That's a huge indicator of if this is your work or not. Because if it's your work and you don't ever know it in its full totality, you'll know that once you reach the pearly gates, you're like, how close did I get? was I even kind of close? And if you're in this work, if you're alongside me, the answer is going to be yes. Fucking egg. Like, yes. That feeling of, I couldn't not. And even if you're not actively, tangibly touching it right now, maybe it was something that you did when you were younger, when you had more time, when you didn't have the kids, but the idea of you needing to go through the rest of your life without you ever doing it again, well, you can't imagine it. Like, you're excited for the day when you miraculously find more time, and it's never ever that, it's you make more space for it. You're excited for the day when it becomes more live and more active in your life. That is your work. When you touch it, your life feels better. When you make space, you want to make space for it. You fantasize about weekends or weeks away, or you're going to take yourself to a little hut, and that's what you're going to do. That's your work. Your work is something that you just naturally find yourself doing. People come towards you and ask you about it and ask you questions about it. And if you're an empath and you're doing this kind of spiritual work, you just have random people start up conversations, and they usually start with, I don't tell anybody this. And you're like, no, this is my life. People come to you for it without you really truly understanding exactly why, but they just do. You're known for it. People know you. People want to talk to you about it. Conversations start with it. And it's It's generally something that you could see yourself centering yourself around. And it's not always something that you could talk about all the time, because not everybody enjoys vocabulary and the words around it, but it is something that you want to be around. You want to be around people that are co-creating within that with you. You want to go into spaces where that is a really live and prominent part of your existence in your life. Can you see how a big indicator of your work is, I couldn't quite live without it? Now, if you take the history of my work, when I was a teacher, I didn't feel that way about teaching. I didn't feel like, oh my God, I could, because it's intense, and not the kids. The kids are brilliant. The whole system, bizarre system that the schooling system is. But it was the foundation and the gateway towards me stepping towards this. I'd barely read a book apart from on a beach. And now I can't not read. I'm reading permanently. There's books littered around my house. Writing is a part of my practice every single day. If you said to me I could never write again, I don't know what I'd do. My work never ever came into focus as being my work and the thing that I'm here to do right from the get-go. So pending where you are on your path, in your thing, it's going to feel different. Right now, as I've spent the last few years just diving deeper into what you could describe as spiritual, but not really. I don't really fit into any of the spiritual circles. And it's definitely not therapy, because, well, it's not. I don't want to talk about the stuff that you can't change. I want to be in the moment of right now and see where the karmic patterns are coming up and how we make them different. I want to be able to land on the work that you're here to do and be able to put my finger on it and be like, have you seen this? And you're like, shit, yeah. Like, that's what I'm here to do. Did I know that 5 years ago? No. But you know what I did know? I knew that I had chronic high functioning anxiety, and that my job then was to read and go into spiritual practices and learn, and that I couldn't put that down. At that point, I couldn't leave that alone. Once I started to step on this path of, and these are some really cool words. So I don't know, obviously you're listening to this, you've caught this podcast. I don't know if you know my work in detail, if you're here just as a one-off and it's this one, but I don't know where you are in your journey. I don't know how well established you are in your work at the moment. I don't know if it's just this feeling, which it was for me at the beginning. So if you're here, I want it to be reassurance of those words, there is more than this, kept me alive. When my lower body stopped working because I was so anxious and so high functioning, nothing else would make me stop. Those were the words. There's more than this, Emma. There's more than this. And I didn't know what it was. So that isn't day one, unfortunately. If you're like at the fairly beginning of this, those are the words that will lead you closer to your work. There's more than this. This ain't it. I refuse to let this be my life. If my life is going to be this in the next 10 years, shove that up your bum hole. No way. There's more than this. I'm remaining open. Saying the words, I'm open to receive. Show me and I will do my part. And opening yourself up to something more than you, something greater than you that makes no sense, but is the guiding light in all of this, which I've had to learn the hard way too many times. Having that openness. And then if you are established in your work and maybe you've got something really yours that you have put time, money and energy into creating, but there is this feeling of, this isn't it. No matter what I do, it never quite feels like enough. Go underneath it. That's what you're being asked to do. That's what you're being called to do. There are a lot of people that are in this space at the moment where they're thinking, well, I've made this, I've built this, I'm successful, I'm doing the things. I can't just stop. I can't just start from scratch. Can I? No, you don't need to. The same way I didn't need to just stop being a teacher, my work evolved into what it is today. You don't need to stop. You don't need to burn it all down. But what you do need to ask is what is sitting underneath everything that is calling you, that you are known for, that is your bread and butter, that people come to you and you do it in your sleep. What is the thing that if you couldn't touch it for the rest of your life, if you had to make a vow to yourself that you never go anywhere near it again, what's that? And these are some other Cool, great. What are you secretly a little bit embarrassed that you love? What doesn't fit into the work? What doesn't fit into the brand? What doesn't fit into the persona? What kind of world are you quietly or loudly trying to advocate for? And what does the world need more of? And what do you know that you could provide? And maybe that's in a product, in a service, in a program. I don't know what it is, but what? What won't stop tugging at you? And maybe it's a dream, maybe it's a fantasy, maybe you've got your dad's voice in the background saying, get real, grow up, stop it. What is it that feels silly and strange and not fully formed, but it feels thrilling underneath it all? You are not like everybody else, and that can be terrifying. And yeah, I hear you. But it's liberating. And when you follow that ache, when you follow that I'm done feeling this not enoughness, when you allow it to grow, your work will transform into everything it was always meant to be. And then the clarity descends, and then the path becomes obvious, and then you know where to step. And it's not the other way around. The other way around is the curated, gorgeous, Instagrammable nonsense that you look out into the world that everybody's doing. It's not that. So sit with these prompts, get curious around them, and let me know what comes up for you around them, what gold you've landed on. What is the silly, scary idea that you already know is what you're meant to be doing, and for some reason you're resisting the bejesus out of it? Go play in those questions and go do the work, my sweet. So that's us for today. If your soul's whispering, this is it, listen, you're not circling this for no reason. The map is real. The magic is yours. The adventure, it's already underway. You feel it. Tell me what sparked. I'm always on Insta for the big, wild, weird, brilliant conversations. And if you've got a friend who needs this fire too, please share the gold. And remember, your work isn't something you force. It's something you find by remembering what was always yours. I'll speak to you soon. Much love.